Hey, I am Tara. Tara, the happy girl. But I was not happy always. Do you want to know why? For that, you need to hear my story. I lived in 5th Street with my mom and dad. I was their only kid. Needless to say that I was the pampered kid. All my wishes were fulfilled before time. I loved my life and my parents too. They were such fun to be around. Until one day, my mom caught my dad with the maid. Oh, she was so furious. Mom had never thought that dad would cheat, but that was fact. The very moment Mom left his house along with me. We reached Grandma's place and for days, Mom sobbed. I felt bad for her. Even I was angry with Dad. I thought ours was the perfect family ever, but my dreams were shattered when Dad cheated. I cried too. Time went past and we got over it. Mom began working again. Soon, she set up her own boutique and I was attending a new school. Life was not that bad either. Not until I met Mom's new boyfriend, Arthur. He greeted me with a hug. Initially, he looked charming, but I was kinda disappointed because I still loved my dad and no one can ever replace him. But I was still a kid then, and my opinion hardly mattered. Few months later, Mom tied a knot with Arthur. Everyone except me was happy. I so badly missed my dad, but now I had a new stepdad. Arthur loved my mom and so did she. I lived with them in the beginning, but I kind of disliked him. I used to scream at him. Mom scolded me. "Is that a way to talk to your dad?" And I replied, "He is not my dad. I could never accept him as my dad." As I was adamant, Mom decided to send me to boarding school. Those were the happiest years of my life. I was away from both Mom and Dad and neither of them ever bothered me. But then, I completed my schooling and it was time for me to return home for high schooling. As I entered my stepdad's house, I was anxious. The same dislike I had for him began to resurface. Mom greeted me and hugged me, but as Arthur came to hug me, I immediately stopped him, and he sensed my discomfort. For a few days, everything was fine. My stepdad stayed away from me. I was happy too. One evening, there was a party in the house. Everyone was dancing. Arthur grabbed Mom by her waist and guess what? This made me furious. I pushed Arthur away and screamed, "How dare you?" And he replied, "I am her husband. Do you get it, Tara? She is my wife and by that relation, I am your dad." "No, you are not my dad. You are my stepdad." I shouted and left from there. This was the beginning of our hatred. We both kinda disliked each other. I would purposely dirty his car, tear his clothes, and even make fun of him. He began to scold me. "You cannot live here. You are a nasty idiot." "You too, and I don't want to live with you." We had a heated argument and soon I was sent to a big university in a different city. Life was normal back again. I had new friends. I enjoyed my life again. Parties and fun. In my high school, there was a nerd boy who used to always stare at me. His name was Jolly. I used to tease him and even bully him with my gang. Such I was a badass I was. Whatever, I loved myself for being who I was. I dated the most handsome hunk in high school. He was rich and fun to be. I loved him and dreamt of getting married to him. 2 years of my high school flew so fast. It was time again for me to return home. My stepdad's home, which I never liked. But still, I went there to meet my mom. I told Mom about me and my boyfriend, and also that I will marry him. She was so happy with the news, but my stepdad, He seemed skeptic. He asked, "How can you assure that he is good enough for you?" And I replied, "Who are you to question my decision? You are not my dad. You are just my mom's husband. So do not interfere in my matter." I thought I gave him a witty reply, but that made the man more curious. Arthur began to inspect Leo and his family history. He had also hired a spy to collect all the information, and after some days, Arthur announced, "Tara, the boy you chose is a cheater. He is not rich but a hacker who steals money." Hearing this, Mom cried and told me, "Tara, I don't want you to suffer. Please, please this time, hear your dad." I wanted to say that he is not my dad, but this time he was trying to protect me. So I asked, "How did you get this information?" And he proudly said, "Through my detective." I looked at him and said, "You are a maniac. You tried to spy my boyfriend. Such a creep you are." I was shouting in anger, but Arthur did not reply. I shouted and then I cried. I locked myself in my room for days. Mom and Arthur knocked the door every day, but I never opened the door for them. Until one day, I heard a familiar voice. "Hey Tara, it's me, Jolly." "What? Jolly? How can he be here?" I immediately opened the door for him and there he was, the same nasty nerd I used to bully. "What are you doing here?" I inquired. "I have come to live in the neighborhood and I only know you here, so thought I should meet you." "Oh, that's good of you, Jolly." I had never thought that Jolly would ever visit me. We talked for hours. I laughed and giggled. Jolly kept visiting me and soon we became the best of friends. I forgave Arthur as well, and for the first time ever, I called him, "Dad, can you drop me to the mall?" And with a big smile on his face, he nodded. I sat in my stepdad's car and he drove me to the mall. While driving, he inquired about Jolly and smiled. Arthur said, "Tara, Jolly seems to be in love with you." "Yes, Dad. He is behind me since high school. I used to bully him, but still, he loved me." I added, "People like this are hard to find, Tara. He genuinely loves you." He said, "Yes, Dad, and I'm gonna say yes to him soon." We reached the mall. I waved bye to Dad. He left smiling too. Jolly was waiting for me in the food court. I went to him and kissed him. There he was shocked. And to my surprise, this nasty nerd kissed me back. And this was a great start to our relationship. I still love Jolly and Jolly loves me too. And we are tying the knot this year. Wish me luck. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.